Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Boy GhostGG. Today we're reacting to Blood of Dawnwalker Prologue preview from IGN. It's just like under 9 minutes, not too long, but I just got finished with the stuff from the live stream, which was the story trailer, the collector's edition reveal, and the 13-minute gameplay overview number 3. So I just want to check out this preview that IGN did and see if there's anything in between. No? Anything we missed?
Sword fights with bizarre, undead creatures, exploring tombs, rescuing villagers, confronting terrifying vampires, and becoming one yourself. These are just a few of the events that occur in the Blood of Dawnwalker's prologue. And during a recent trip to developer Rebel Wolf Studio in Warsaw, Poland, I was able to watch a developer play through it all. An 80-minute segment that took us from the opening CGI cinematic to the catalyst event that truly kicks off this RPG's story. Sadly, I can't show you everything I saw, as we've only been provided with a few short minutes of footage, and so at least some of what you'll see in this preview will be clips you've already seen before. Although, speaking frankly, the prologue is less interesting than what we've been shown previously. At Gamescom last year, we were able to see a mid-game quest tackled both during the day and night to demonstrate Cohen's human and vampire abilities, plus the complex time and hunger systems that form the bedrock of this blood-sucking story. Few of those ideas are present in the prologue, which deliberately starts simple in order to both provide tutorials and set up the story, although it does soon leap into a series of dramatic beats that I won't spoil in this preview.
Those who fear it tremble.
But while this introduction sequence is light on the things that make Dawnwalker notably ambitious and exciting, it does show how Rebel Wolves has tried to build complexity into what initially seems to be the pretty typical day in the life of an unremarkable peasant that so many medieval RPGs open on.
I hope someone finds the thief.
Well, as unremarkable a day for a man who's about to become a superpowered bloodsucker can be. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. The first day of what will become Cohen's cursed existence begins with a request from his father. Find medicinal herbs for his mother, who has become so sick she refuses to eat and is barely lucid. It's a request that the developer playing the demo completely ignores. While this would be perhaps the only mandatory quest in a more typical RPG prologue, the Blood of Dawnwalker's narrative sandbox design means there's no main story quest to follow. Instead, you're simply given a deadline of sundown, when you'll need to attend church for the ominous sounding blood mass. Between now and then, you can complete whatever tasks you wish, each of which costs a fragment of your 8-part time bar to complete. When you're out of time, the blood mass begins, regardless of whether you gathered those herbs or not. And so the prologue is a miniaturized version of Dawnwalker's complete campaign, in which you have 30 days and 30 nights to save your family from vampires, and what stories and quests you follow within that time is entirely up to you. Rather than forage for herbs, our developer guide had Cohen explore his village in search of other opportunities. Struck down by the plague and thus poorly maintained, Cohen's home turf is painted in the same shades as the Witcher 3's wretched Velen. Its surviving population is all in need of help. We ignore a begging woman named Gremla in favour of signing up to ghost spelunking to seek out someone's missing brother, as well as agreeing to rescue the local farmer's prized pig.
What is this place?
No idea, but it reeks of death.
Finding a lost animal for a worried owner is quest design 101 for fantasy RPGs, and so it's unsurprising to find that the Blood of Dawnwalker's prologue features its own wandering farmyard resident. The quest sees us search high and low, and beat up a castaway man, in our attempt to bring the sow back to her owner, who, when reunited with his muddy love, promptly asks if we'd like to butcher the animal ourselves. This dark twist is perhaps the earliest indication that the Blood of Dawnwalker is absolutely a game created by the former director of The Witcher 3, and a studio staffed by numerous ex-CD Projekt Red talent. Even the smallest quests have grisly repercussions. By the end of the day, the pig and brother have both been found and sent home. For Gremla and our own mother though, things are not so rosy. You'll find no story details here, but ignoring these quests has significant repercussions and dramatic resolutions. The promise of this prologue then is that all actions taken across Dawnwalker's 50 to 70 hour journey, even inaction, have consequences. For some people, this is going to be deeply stressful. Dawnwalker's design means you simply don't have time to help everyone and achieve positive outcomes in every story thread, especially when not getting involved can prove to be as impactful as getting your hands dirty. But for me, and I expect many others looking for a more complex RPG, I really like the kind of game this design promises. A deep evolution of Persona's timekeeping calendar system, and a set of connected mechanics which create a desperate, reactive world in need of change that perhaps only you can deliver. It's good to see Rebel Wolves' approach so well established in Dawnwalker's opening hour. Not just good, but vital. Without the dramatic consequences to your choices, the studio's decision to begin Cohen's journey in an otherwise very typical fashion could have felt incredibly rote. I do see what the studio is doing here, challenging RPG conventions by taking cliché tutorial quests and putting a quite frankly CD Projekt Red coded spin on them. But even with this reactivity on show, finding a pig or rescuing a man from a cave isn't the most enthralling activity to take on out of the gate. Thankfully, even if the twists that unravel from these simple stories don't capture your imagination, the wider narrative of this opening hour is much more engaging. By sundown, Cohen finds himself at a church ceremony that revels in a similar cross-section of Catholic and vampire mythology as Mike Flanagan's Netflix masterpiece Midnight Mass. And from here on, I expect,
love that show.
or at least hope, the aims of each quest will be much more engaging. By the prologue's final sequence, Cohen has been transformed into a vampire and has access to a suite of blood-fueled abilities. Most of the conversation around Dawnwalker has been focused on its storytelling and time mechanics, and while I do think that that's where the vast majority of its appeal lies, I do think its more physical side shows promise too. Everything showcased in this demo has been seen before, but the action reaffirmed that Cohen is a hybrid of The Witcher's Geralt and Dishonored's Corvo, something distinctly apparent in the Shadow Step ability that lets you teleport across short distances,
I was just thinking about that.
unconventional routes through the environment. Plane Shift complements that, allowing you to walk up walls and along ceilings. Claw Ride, which sees you sort of vertically surf down sheer surfaces, feels a little more catered to just being a quick dose of cinematic cool, but its inclusion perhaps points to some interesting vertical level geography to come later in the campaign. Combat, meanwhile, also feels like The Witcher 3 spliced with another game. This time, the directional-based swordplay of Kingdom Come Deliverance or For Honor, in which you must manually adjust the angle of your blade in order to block, counter, and land attacks. For those who find this a little too fiddly, an omnidirectional guard and strike can simplify things at the cost of extra stamina consumption, while active abilities like throwing dirt into an adversary's eyes in order to stun them feels akin to the comfortable mainstream combat systems seen in Assassin's Creed and Ghost of Yotei. After watching the Rebel Wolves developer fight against an early boss and a few regular sword hands, I'll admit that combat is the thing I'm most unsure of, despite its clear push beyond just being a repeat of what many of the studio's staff achieved on The Witcher. However, I often find that this kind of combat can look dull and stilted as an observer, but feel very absorbing and deliberate as a participant. So I'll chalk up my lack of enthusiasm to that until I can go hands-on with Cohen's blades and claws myself. After seeing Rebel Wolves' ambition on full display at Gamescom last year, my anticipation for the Blood of Dawnwalker was very high. I'm not sure I'd have felt quite the same if my first introduction to its world was this prologue. Even with their smart twists, its RPG staple introductory quests are by far the least interesting part of Dawnwalker that I've seen.
Let me try.
But despite toying with the rote, this demonstration has done nothing to shake my confidence. It feels like Rebel Wolves has created a prologue that effectively establishes a dark medieval world that bends to your choices, and lays the initial tracks for Cohen's interesting dual-lane journey in which you must master both the man and the vampire. It's knowing what comes after all this though, the depth of its day-night narrative sandbox and the multitude of opportunities for both sides of Cohen that I've shown previously, that places the Blood of Dawnwalker among the small handful of games that I'm impatiently waiting for this year. The opening may not be the sharpest fang in its potentially deadly grin then, but it's a pointed tooth all the same. Are you also looking forward to the Blood of Dawnwalker? Let us know how you're feeling about this vampire RPG in the comments. For more, check out the latest trailer, and for everything else Bloodsuckers and more, stick with IGN.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am truly excited for this game. It looks cool. The mechanics look interesting, very much the Dead Rising mechanic of like you have a time period of finishing your objectives and you get done what you can in that time period. You can't finish everything. It's not possible. And yeah, so the preview that I watched earlier before this, it'll be uploaded before this. The 13-minute gameplay from the actual chat from the Blood of Dawnwalker channel. everything ticks down the time, it seems like. Whether there's a main mission that ticks down more time, or something as simple as restoring an altar, which does 1 time. Learning a specific skill requires skill points and time. So everything is focused around that time, counting down 30 days and 30 nights. And then once those 30 days and 30 nights are done, off to the main objective of saving your family from whatever coronation is happening. And you can do that as early as probably like the first day or first night. You could probably go straight to that main mission if that's the case. It's open-ended in that way, right? The whole point of those 30 days and 30 nights is to get stronger and get strong as possible to defeat everyone. And plus, you have your vampires. You got the main one in the middle, right? But you have his lieutenants or whatever, captains. And then around them have like smaller objectives that lead to those captains. And I think killing them would obviously make the final boss easier in that sense, but I don't know. I'm assuming so. That makes sense in my head. But yeah, so the mechanic is very interesting. It's something like, I don't know if a lot of people are going to like it, just because I don't know about me. Like, I love when I play these type of games. I want to do everything possible, right? I want to do all the side activities, all the side missions, get all the skills, but that's not going to be possible in this game, it seems like. So, I think I'll like the story, but I don't know how much I'm going to like the mechanic. We'll see when the game comes out, right? I'm still going to play it. I still think it's a cool world made by former Witcher devs here. I love The Witcher, so like I can't wait to check out this dark medieval fantasy type of world. But with that being said, it doesn't come out till September 3rd, I believe. So with that being said, we will be playing a lot of stuff between that. But till then, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.